Hey everybody, welcome back to another exciting episode of What CD is Rob listening to? I'm your host Rob, taking you back to 2009? Get these glasses off. 2009 with this one, and Dream Theater's 10th studio album, Black Clouds and Silver Linings. Now as you can see, there are some black clouds here. There's probably some silver linings in here, and then of course, an elephant with a paintbrush. I think that is a metaphor on life. An elephant with a paintbrush. Because when I think of life, I think we're all just paintbrushes in an elephant's mouth. Trunk. Whatever. Anyhow, one particular big fact about this album is that this would ultimately prove to be Mike Portnoy's final album with Dream Theater. Studio album anyway. He may come back. Who knows what the future holds. But as of now, it's been quite a while, and Mike has moved on to other things. I'm not going to say they're bigger and better things, although many times I will pick a Neil Morse album over a Dream Theater album. But Dream Theater is still tied with Neil Morse as my second favorite band. So lots of great music coming from both camps afterwards. But first, we're going to talk about this one. And like I said, it's their 10th studio album. And this version here, I've got the deluxe one that opens up. It's got the booklet and the art in here. And then I don't like the case much, but these pop out. And you've got disc 1, which is the album. 6 tracks. You've got A Nightmare to Remember, A Rite of Passage, Wither, The Shattered Fortress, The Best of Times, and The Count of Tuscany. And we'll talk about those songs in a moment. And then you've got something very cool they did for Mike's last album. To promote this, they did a bunch of covers, and they released those. I don't remember if it was every week or not, but staggeringly. And some really cool covers in here. You've got Stargazer, which was Rainbow. Very cool cover of that. James does a fine job filling in for Dio's vocals here, and the rest of the band just sound phenomenal. Then you got Tenement, Funster, Flick of the Wrist, and Lily of the Valley. Probably my favorite trio of songs from Queen from their Sheer Heart Attack album. And again, Dream Theater did a fantastic job here. You got Odyssey and, I can't remember if that was the Dixie Dregs, I think. Anyway, great cover. It's a really cool instrumental track. Take Your Fingers From My Hair, the first Zebra track I ever heard, and it wasn't even Zebra. This is the first time hearing Dream Theater's version of it that I ever heard anything from Zebra, and such a fantastic song. And again, I went back and listened to the Zebra track, and Dream Theater does a pretty damn good job here. Another instrumental track from King Crimson's Lark's Tongues and Aspic Part 2. Well, that's not the name of the album, but what they did here was Lark's Tongues and Aspic Part 2, and I thought it was a really cool, kind of crunchy, heavy cover of that song. Very cool stuff. And then the only track that was previously available, Iron Maiden's To Tame a Land, and again, just phenomenal performance of a great song, so that was really cool. And then the third disc here, you've got the instrumental mixes of the album, which I never really listened to. I appreciate that the instruments are killer, but I like the vocals. I'm not somebody that's going to complain about James LaBrie's vocals. I think he sounds great. So I don't really play the instrumental disc very often. I do, however, play this album fairly often. I think it's up there. It's one of my favorites. It's great stuff. It starts off with this 16-minute A Nightmare to Remember, and Mike does some of the gruff kind of Cookie Monster vocals on here, which I'm not a huge fan of. I like the way that the band did it when they did that song on, I don't remember, one of their last live albums. I think it was the London one. I like the way they did that better, but it's a great song. There's the hopelessly the middle part, I can't think, Hopelessly Bathed in Agony, whatever that part's called. I love that part of the song. Rite of Passage, I believe, was the album's first single. Really cool stuff. Kind of a heavy rocker about secret societies. Wither is a song about writer's block. A quieter, in fact, the only really quiet song on this album, but I really like it. There's a very depressing video of it, as it shows the band is fairly distanced. Mike isn't really hanging out with the band much, and honestly, you could tell from that things were maybe starting to fall apart a bit there. Then you got the last part of the AA saga, The Shattered Fortress, and I think that is right up there with The Root of All Evil as one of my favorites of the saga. It's really cool stuff. Then you got The Best of Times. Mike wrote for his dad the lyrics, And when you join those lyrics with that music, man, it's an emotional track. I defy you not to get a little misty-eyed. It's, like I said, it's very emotional. A killer guitar solo from Petrucci. So much depth and filling in the song. I love it. And then you got the Count of Tuscany, and it's a 19-minute track. A really cool song. There is a quiet middle section that you know, it sort of builds a vibe, and then it ramps up to the last section of the song. I don't know. I mean, maybe you could have squeezed a minute or two out of that. Like taking it out of there. But otherwise, really cool stuff. Great song. Anyway, like I said, 10th studio album. As of now, the final album to feature Mike Portnoy on the drums. So there's some cool artwork on the inside of the book here as well. Oh, I thought I'd maybe show you a bit of that one. There's that elephant he's painting. Pretty picture. Pretty. There's the band. Again, phenomenal band. They're just great. Jordan Rudess. A lot of people complain about him as the band's keyboardist. I guess they're Kevin Moore purists. I don't know, but Jordan Rudess is my favorite keyboardist in the band. Followed, of course, by Derek Sherinian, who is the most metal keyboardist they've ever had. Derek Sherinian can make a keyboard talk like a guitar. It just sounds phenomenal. But I like the music output since Jordan joined the band the most. Sherinian only got to do one album, full album with the band, so maybe it could have done more. I don't know, but I really like Rudess. There's some pictures of Mike and his dad there for the best of times. And then I assume that to be the Count of Tuscany himself. So, I mean, great album. Definitely check it out if you haven't. Dream Theater, Black Clouds and Silver Linings on the Roadrunner label. I think this was their first album for Roadrunner. Maybe Systematic Chaos was. I think Systematic Chaos was, actually. Anyway, until next time, toodles.